It was a headline that caught everyone's attention, sparking immediate curiosity and speculation across the country. Philippine Navy to accept only 3 of 6 Japanese warships. The bold headline seemed almost unbelievable at first glance. The news broke early in the morning, catching both defense analysts and ordinary citizens off guard. Coffee shops buzzed with conversation as people tried to make sense of the announcement. The deal, long rumored and much discussed in military circles, was not what most expected. Months of speculation had led many to believe a different outcome was inevitable. Many assumed the Philippines would eagerly accept all the ships Japan offered, seeing it as a rare opportunity to boost naval strength quickly. The official announcement came from the Department of National Defense. Cameras flashed, reporters jostled for position, and the room was thick with anticipation. Reporters pressed for answers, asking the question on everyone's mind: why only 3? Was there a hidden reason behind this selective acceptance? The Navy's spokesperson smiled knowingly, hinting at a bigger plan behind the decision. His demeanor suggested confidence, not hesitation. "This is about more than numbers," he said firmly, emphasizing that the choice was strategic, not simply a matter of quantity. There was a sense of mystery and strategy in the air. The decision seemed to be part of a larger, carefully considered vision for the Navy's future. Social media buzzed with opinions, debates, and even memes. Everyone had a theory, and the topic trended nationwide. Was it budget constraints? Was it political maneuvering? Or was the Navy making a critical mistake by turning down half the offer? Experts weighed in on television and online, but the real reasons were deeper and more complex than most realized, involving long-term planning and careful assessment. The Philippine Navy was playing the long game, focusing on sustainability, crew training, and operational readiness rather than just numbers. This essay dives into the Navy's thinking, exploring the rationale behind such a surprising move. We'll look at the lessons of the past, the reality of modern fleets, and why 3 well-chosen ships, properly maintained and crewed, can be worth far more than a dozen poorly managed ones. The story is just beginning. On paper, 6 warships seem better than 3. More ships mean more power, right? Not always. The Navy's decision surprised many, but it was not made lightly. Accepting 3 ships instead of 6 was a calculated move. Each ship is a big responsibility. Crews must be trained, parts must be stocked, repairs must be done. The Navy knew that taking all 6 might stretch its resources too thin. Instead, they chose to focus on quality and readiness. Another reason is strategy. The Navy wants to make sure each new ship is fully integrated and ready for action. By choosing 3, they can ensure these ships are well supported. It's about making each ship count. The goal: a smarter, not just bigger fleet. This decision also sends a message. The Philippine Navy is serious about its future. It's not about collecting ships, but building a strong modern force that can last. Modern navies are about more than just counting ships. It's not simply a numbers game anymore. The true strength of a navy lies in how well it can use its assets, not just how many it has. For the Philippine Navy, the focus is on long-term effectiveness, building a force that can adapt and thrive in changing times. Accepting fewer ships is part of a larger plan, a deliberate choice to prioritize quality, capability, and readiness over sheer quantity. They want to avoid mistakes of the past, when old, tired ships filled the roster but rarely sailed, ships that looked impressive on paper but couldn't perform when needed. The Navy is investing in people as much as hardware, recognizing that skilled sailors and officers are the backbone of any effective fleet. Each new ship brings new systems and technology, requiring crews to master advanced equipment and digital tools. Crews need time to train, to build confidence and teamwork, so they can respond to any situation at sea. Support teams need to learn new maintenance routines, ensuring every vessel stays mission-ready and safe for deployment. By limiting the number of new ships, the Navy makes sure everyone is ready, and no one is stretched too thin or left behind. This isn't just about today. It's about building a force that will stand strong for years to come. The Navy is looking years ahead, planning for future threats and opportunities, not just immediate needs. They want to make sure the fleet is sustainable, with ships that can be maintained and upgraded as technology evolves. Ships should be ready to sail, not sit in port. Every vessel should be an asset, not a liability. That requires smart planning now, and the leadership knows it. Every decision made today shapes the Navy's future. In the end, the Navy wants a force that can respond quickly, operate reliably, and support allies in joint missions, proving its value on the world stage. Fewer ships, well prepared, can do more than a larger, unready fleet. It's not about having the most, it's about being the best prepared for whatever comes next. A warship is more than steel and engines. It's a team effort. Crews must know their ship inside and out. Training takes months, sometimes years. Each new system is a challenge, especially if it comes from another country. Taking in 3 new ships is already a huge training commitment. Crews will need to learn Japanese systems, from radars to engines. Instructors must be found or brought in. Manuals must be translated. Mistakes can be costly at sea. Sustainability is another big issue. Spare parts for Japanese ships are not easy to find in the Philippines. The Navy will need to build up stocks, set up new supply lines, and train technicians. This takes time and money. By focusing on 3 ships, the Navy can make sure these challenges are met. It's better to have 3 ships ready for action than 6 stuck in port because crews and parts aren't ready. The ships Japan offered are from the Abukuma class. These are not just ordinary patrol boats, they are built for high-tech anti-submarine warfare. In Asia's busy seas, submarines are a growing threat. The Abukuma class gives the Navy a powerful new tool. Each ship is armed with sonar, torpedoes, and advanced sensors. They can hunt enemy submarines, protect shipping lanes, and work with allies. The Abukuma class is also fast and agile, making it hard to track. The ships are not brand new, but they are well maintained. Japan is famous for keeping its ships in top shape. For the Philippines, this means they are getting proven, reliable ships with plenty of life left in them. Adding these ships to the fleet boosts the Navy's anti-submarine power overnight. It also helps the Philippines keep up with neighbors in a region where underwater threats are real. Owning a warship is expensive. Fuel, repairs, spare parts, and crew pay all add up. The more ships you have, the bigger the bills. The Philippine Navy knows this from experience. Sometimes ships sit idle simply because there's no money or parts to keep them running. Japanese ships use different parts and systems. The Navy will need special tools, new training, and links to Japanese suppliers. If they took all 6 ships at once, costs could spiral out of control. 3 is a much safer number to handle. Ships also need regular maintenance. Miss a check and you risk a breakdown at sea. With fewer ships, the Navy can focus its maintenance teams. The goal is to have all ships ready to go, not left waiting on repairs. This careful approach means the Navy spends money wisely. Every peso goes to keeping ships active and ready, not just sitting in the harbor. The Philippine Navy's past is full of second-hand ships, vessels that had already seen years of service before arriving in the country. These ships, often with faded paint and worn decks, became the backbone of the fleet for decades. Many of these ships came from the United States after World War II, handed down as military aid or surplus. They arrived with stories of their own, having sailed through major conflicts and crossed vast oceans. These old ships were cheap to acquire, but honestly, they were hard to keep running. Their age meant constant repairs, and their outdated technology quickly became a burden. Crews struggled with outdated systems, and spare parts were often impossible to find. Sailors had to improvise, sometimes even fabricating components just to keep the engines running. As a result, many of these ships spent more time in port than at sea, waiting for repairs or simply unable to operate safely. Some never sailed again after arriving, while others broke down far from help, leaving their crews stranded and vulnerable. The Navy learned the hard way that more is not always better. Having a large fleet means little if most ships can't leave the dock or complete their missions. It's better to have a few good ships than many unreliable ones. Quality and reliability matter more than sheer numbers when it comes to defending the nation's waters. This history shapes today's strategy. The lessons of the past are visible in every decision the Navy makes about new acquisitions and fleet management. The leadership remembers the pain of wasted money and lost time, and the Navy doesn't want to repeat those mistakes. Every ship that sat idle was a missed opportunity to protect the country. Experience has taught them to focus on support, not just on hardware. Training, maintenance, and logistics are now seen as just as important as the ships themselves. Taking only 3 ships is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. It shows a commitment to building a fleet that can actually serve and protect, rather than just look impressive on paper. It shows the Navy is learning from history and choosing a smarter path forward, one that values readiness, sustainability, and the ability to truly defend the nation's seas. A smaller fleet has its advantages. With fewer ships, each one gets more attention. Crews are better trained, and maintenance is done on time. Ships are ready to sail, not just waiting around for repairs. This focus on quality makes the fleet more reliable. Quality also means better teamwork. Crews get to know their ships well, and commanders can plan missions knowing the fleet is ready. In battle or disaster response, a well-prepared ship is worth three that aren't. A focused fleet can also upgrade faster. With fewer ships to manage, the Navy can add new tech more easily. Lessons from each ship help improve the next, creating a cycle of constant improvement. The Navy's choice shows confidence. It's not about having the biggest fleet, but the best prepared one. That's what really makes a difference at sea. This deal is about more than just ships. It's a sign of growing partnership between the Philippines and Japan. Both countries face similar challenges in the region: rising tensions, territorial disputes, and the need for strong allies. By working with Japan, the Philippine Navy gains access to new technology and training. Japanese crews will help teach Filipino sailors. This sharing builds trust and skill on both sides. It also sends a message: the Philippines is not alone. Regional security is everyone's concern. With these new ships, the Philippines can help patrol busy sea lanes, respond to disasters, and take part in joint exercises. This helps keep the region stable and safe. The partnership is about more than defense. It's about friendship, trust, and a shared vision for peace and stability in Asia. In the end, the decision to take 3 Japanese warships is about the future. The Philippine Navy is building a force that can last. Each ship will be well supported, well manned, and ready to meet any challenge. The Navy learns from past mistakes. It invests in training, maintenance, and partnerships. It chooses quality over quantity, knowing that a few good ships can do more than a fleet of unready ones. This makes the Navy more flexible and effective. The deal with Japan is about more than ships. It builds ties, improves skills, and prepares the Philippines for an uncertain future. The Navy is growing, not just in size, but in strength and resilience. With this choice, the Philippine Navy shows it is ready for tomorrow. It stands stronger, not just for itself, but for its allies in the region.